When I look at this stuff, I'm looking through the eyes of a 10 or 12-year-old boy, and I can see what I used to see in those days. Now, of course, it's changed quite a bit, and it just triggers a lot of old memories, good memories. That's the People's Store. That was, in a lot of ways, one of our hangouts. Well, it was American too. You know, it had groceries, it had pants and shoes and different things like that they sold. Dry goods, as they call them. He had a couple of benches outside, and we'd go there if any one of us had money and buy a Coke and peanuts. And we would love to put those salted peanuts in that Coke and sit there outside and drink that. The People's Store was run by Frank Aragon, and his son and I were classmates. And he had this 53 or 54 green Chevrolet pickup. And of course they had the People's Store sign and the advertisements that they put on the trunk. But this man would go every afternoon to school to pick up his kids. And without being invited, most of us would jump in the back end of that truck, and he would drive us all the way back. He never told us to get off, and we would go to the People's Store. But most of the time what we did, the minute we got in front of his store and he stopped to let us all off, we'd go right across the street to the Sanders Mercantile store, also a grocery store, and sit right in front, because he had a TV inside that store. And we sit in front of that TV and watch the old KOB's show. You know, the guy that there was a host was Dick Bills. He would shows Gene Autry, Roy Rogers type things, and we sit there from about 3:30 to 5:30 until we were going to close the store, and then he ran us off. But he never told us to leave prior to that. We weren't doing anything other than taking up room and watching the TV, but we grew up in a time that most of us did not have TVs. And that was one area we would go gather and watch that TV. And right there where that trailer's sitting right now, that was also a path right behind that building or that house that we used to play around where the street light is on. There used to be an outhouse, and most homes in Bonn, New Mexico at that time had more outhouses than they did indoor plumbing. And we used to walk that path to and from the house, because right beyond that trailer is where my house is located. And that was a path that we took going to school or at night coming home and everything. Anyway, one day, one of the individuals that lived in that house, named Celso Gallegos, a lot older than I was at the time, committed suicide in that house. And from then on, we were scared to death to use that path. Now, during daylight, as long as there was 2 or 3 of us, we'd walk through that path and on to school. But in the evening, if there wasn't enough of us to go through that path, it was straight all the way down to the corner with a street light, and then as fast as our little legs could carry us down to the house. It was scary. We knew the individual, obviously a lot older than us, but we knew who he was. It was a shock to all of us when he did commit suicide, and it scared us. I don't know what we expected. I don't know if we expected him to walk out of that outhouse later on in time or what, but it was a scary situation for us kids. There's an area that we used to call the Lazy Corner. Believe it or not, that was a corner that we learned a lot about the birds and the bees from older men. They would tell us about, birds and the bees, so to speak, some of the stuff, who knows, but it was a place that we hung around, and that's Main Street. It wasn't 4-lane in those days, it was just a 2-lane street, but that was the Main Street in Bonn. And there was a lot of traffic that went through there, and that was the area we hang out at night, or in the evenings, or even the weekends, with our little transistor radios, listen to KOMA 1520 on the radio dial, and they played all the old 60 songs, and we were so proud of having a little transistor radio and sitting right there and listening to the Supremes or all the other artists that would, Little Richard and so on. Those were the hangouts. I mean, there was not a lot to do in Bonn, and obviously a lot of us didn't have a lot of money to be able to do anything else, so the good memories of growing up in a little town like Bonn, New Mexico.